So some change has always made wonders. Yeah.
But sir, what do you think? Which approach should we follow? Whether we should do it from scratch, even the mathematics part, or just do the coding part?
To really be frank about it, I would say these days, AI tools are helping a lot.
True. So,
So you
could you please share how AI is impacting infrastructure and security jobs today? And how do you see a role of a software architect changing in the coming years? And especially,
so I would say the advice would be like go and talk to more people and be pragmatic. Um,
good morning, sir. Sir, I'm Ashmeen Kaur from Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology, currently attending the Thapar Summer School under the guidance of Dr. Prashant Singh Rana. Sir, it's a pleasure to welcome you to this episode of our podcast series where we interact with professionals who are making meaningful contributions in the tech world. It's truly an honor to have you here today. Over the past decade, you have played a key role in shaping Okta's security infrastructure, and your work in infrastructure and application security is truly inspiring. And thank you so much, sir, for taking out the time to share your valuable insights and experiences with me today.
Thank you.
So, before we start with the questions, it would be great if you could briefly introduce yourself in your own words.
I'm Nandagopal Seshagiri. I work as a senior software architect at Okta. Um, been with that company for some time now. Have more than 2 decades of experience in software industry, mostly around security, cybersecurity, endpoint management systems. I worked with IBM, a couple of startups, successful ones, unsuccessful ones as well. Um, yeah, currently I'm mostly working on the domain of cybersecurity, cloud computing, specifically on infrastructure security. Yeah, I'm happy to be here and help as much as I can for the future generations. Yeah, contributing back to the community, so to speak.
Thank you for your introduction, sir. So, let's begin with the questions.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
So, sir, how did you get into the field of security? Was it something you were drawn to from the beginning, or did that interest just develop gradually while exploring other areas?
I would say mostly gradually developed as I explored other areas, but I from the um, as I passed out of college or even during college, I was interested mostly in system side software. Um, uh, it took me some time to actually start liking application development. I was mostly oriented towards system software. So all the companies that I chose to join were mostly around system software. Could be things like early stages was printer drivers and networking protocol implementation and things like that. Um, then I think then I joined a startup that was mostly on doing client-side single sign-on. I joined it as a, you know, because the requirements were system-side software, and then eventually, it started becoming. Uh, it was oriented a lot towards security, so I ended up doing a lot more security along with system-side software. So it was a, it was a happy combination. So um, and then all my subsequent jobs were leaning more towards security, cyber security, be it implementation, most often, yeah, applied cryptography and implementation of security software, um, mostly swarming around identity, user identities. um, yeah.
Okay, sir. So, moving ahead, you have worked extensively on applying zero trust principles to real world systems at Okta. So, for students or early developers, this term can sound a bit abstract. So, could you please explain how zero trust actually translates into system design and day to day engineering decisions?
Sure. um, Actually, recently I wrote an article also on zero trust. I might pass the link to you at some point. I'll definitely share the link with you. But just for the podcast, I can explain. Um, Zero trust is, I mean, the word is meant to be catchy, so to attract attention. It is not exactly, you don't trust anything, because if you don't trust anything, there is nothing, you can't transact at all. Um, the idea is to to know that you're trusting something and what level you're trusting. Being aware of how much trust you're placing on the system, or whatever you're interacting with, is the key. Like for example, we are doing this on Zoom. There is a we we are trusting the software, we are trusting the service that is provided. When you go to Zoom, you trust that it is actually Zoom and it is not something else. And how do you do that? There is a certificate signed by a trusted digital authority. That who won't get compromised easily, who will who can't be bought out. So there is, if you keep digging deeper, you can see that there's a lot of trust, one after another, that's piling up, right? Being aware of all this trust and the chain of trust is what the idea of zero trust is. Giving the deep thought as to where, what all we trust, and how much is agile, how much we can change, how much we can tweak, and how much is non-negotiable because of the state of the system today, is what zero trust is about. Yeah.
Okay.
um I hope it was clarifying, but yeah.
Yes, yes, sir. That gave a lot of clarity. So now shifting to the constantly evolving world of infrastructure and security, how do you personally stay updated with the technologies, threats, or the best practices?
um yeah, to really be frank about it, I would say these days, AI tools are helping a lot.
Yes.
So you can fill the gaps easily using AI tools, in the sense, obviously, you some amount of effort and work is required on your side. Otherwise, acquiring knowledge is very difficult. Um, so that's why I say, you have to have a structure of understanding, and where the structure is weak. So, and with ChatGPT, previously it used to be Google search engines. You search and then you try to you search using keywords, or sometimes even direct questions, and you will ask what is, w- you basically ask pointed questions about where the gap is, previously to Google. But you will get arbitrary answers. You will have to decipher that. You will have to go through million not millions, probably hundreds of documents, and try to understand and piece together. But with ChatGPT, you can ask pointed questions, and then it gives you an answer, and then you can ask further questions. So it's kind of easy. Um, but I think the responsibility of starting up with the basic structure of a new conceptual understanding still relies on the individual, because only how best you understand certain things, like whether mental a picture is better for you, a mental model of you know uh, mental model of analogy is better for you, like you you create a correlation to something that you already know, and then build up. So what works best for you is something that only you would know, and use that, and build some basic structure of understanding. So be it any new concept, for that matter, even LLM, right? um, you try to you try to piece together some things, and then where the pieces are not very clear, hazy, missing, you don't know how it connects, then you can ask very pointed questions. When pointed questions kind of fail, you can go back to your good old friend, try with Google and understand. So there's a lot of resources today. But yeah, no, it's always tough, because you know most often there is a lot of misleading information, more marketing jargons, and a lot of information that is just mostly a cover up. you know it's just there to a lot of articles are clickbait, a lot of information is just fluff, right? So passing through all of that is difficult. And then even if you don't, even asking the right question to the AI tools is very important. If you're not able to ask the right question, it can lead you in the wrong direction, and then you completely get the wrong picture, wrong understanding, wrong
Yes.
idea. So it's a and keeping up with technology news and what's happening is also important, because you know for example, even the developments on AI, you wouldn't you need to be subscribed, to specific resources which you need to keep constantly pruning, and making sure that resource is still reliable. They have not moved away from, the uh, they're not moved away to money making business jargons, and attracting attention rather than actually divulging knowledge, right? So keep pruning those and make sure that you have some reliable resources that you depend on for knowing what is happening, and then use the tools like AI and Google, and to further to to first start building a structure of knowledge for yourself on the new concept, and then start filling gaps. And that's usually my strategy.
I'll definitely give that a thought.
Yeah.
So, sir, in such a field that constantly demands learning and adapting, there are times when we feel stuck or doubt our ability to grasp something new. So, how do you deal with such moments of self doubt or demotivation? And what helps you to stay curious and keep going even through these tough or monotonous phases?
Yeah. It's I think it's, as you said, it is only a phase. So you will have to, sometimes you don't fight it. I mean, that's what has worked out mostly for me. Don't try to fight it. You um, Take it easy. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Because, yeah, it is, it's very hard to understand why. Like, it's very hard to say, where a thought arose from, what led to the thought. It comes, you
Yes,
just,
yes.
move on with it. It'll be great if you can get to that level to know, where a thought came from, be it thought or, feeling or whatever, right? Be it depression, where it is coming from, find the root cause, and, be able to correct it. Sometimes you may not have the agency to even correct it. So often it is more, I feel, you know having the, um, being resilient to live through it, to, in the sense, I mean, I'm making it sound like, you're living through hell or something. It's not exactly, but, for the lack of better phrase or terminology, I'm just saying, just deal with it, live through it. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Don't fight it. If you are able to dig deeper and find out what is the cause, and, make some attempts to see if you can address the cause, but most often the cause may be something not under your control. So, being just aware of it, and see if you can avoid the cause, the cause that is constantly leading you to whatever depression, avoiding moving away from it. um, and sometimes, just even if you don't even know the cause, just making a change would work, right? Very, very simple changes, to your routines, to the environment, like, really, silly things have worked also for me. I mean, just changing the desk position, changing, getting getting a new getting a new tool to work on, right? And something very simple, something that you thought, just like simple things like, starting to run, changing your exercise. Yeah, really, really silly things have worked also. Some change has always made, wonders. Yeah.
So, sir, as you mentioned earlier, that you did many startups and many failed as well. So, was this the same approach you applied there as well?
Yeah, I mean, change. Yeah, I went for change sometimes. Seriously, yeah. I went for change from one startup to another startup, just because, either it was monotonous, or it was like either too hectic, or too, I wouldn't say toxic, but more like too, no, acidic. I'm not finding a better word. It's like, it is, it's, if something is slightly suffocating for whatever reason, usually, some of those things, you look at it and then say, okay, maybe change, right? A lot of the times you just do it in a very, very ad hoc manner, empirically, not even thinking about it, right? So that is totally fine. I feel it, it is, um, you know, just doing that, just, it's it has always been told, and when you grew up, people would say, oh no, make a change, maybe things will be better, right?
Yes, yes.
And I probably try to decipher it, and that's, no, it's why it's my earnest attempt to explain that, I guess, is this answer is all about. but just blindly just doing a change, whatever it might be, like as I said, silly
Oh.
ones I've always worked, and changing job has always been such an attempt for me as well, where I know that doesn't feel like you're stuck in a particular place, and try a different startup. Yeah.
I'll definitely apply that in my life. So, sir, moving ahead, we are currently learning AI and ML in the Thapar Summer School. So, could you please share how AI is impacting infrastructure and security jobs today? And how do you see a role of a software architect changing in the coming years, and especially in the terms of important skills?
Yeah. So, um, I don't know how deeply you are learning AI and ML. I mean, I would say, um, the if you're trying to create AI and ML systems, from scratch, that's a different ball game altogether. Um,
But sir, what do you think? Which approach should we follow? Whether we should do it from scratch, even the mathematics part, or just do the coding part?
Sure, I'm getting there. Yeah, the mathematics part you should definitely know, but I have a very, very clear segregation between, learning the internals of AI or ML, um, and creating newer systems, innovations on neural networks, innovation on optimization on um, these models to make computation faster or efficient, or reducing the cost of computation. That's a different ballgame altogether. It needs probably, lot of deep understanding of how the math works. It's not it's at the end it's just linear algebra, and quite a bit of calculus for the back propagation. But it's okay to do that, but it's a being able to apply that is also is very difficult, because only big players will, because the money involved is way too high, and the returns are very low, or the probability of great returns are very low, right? So only it's a big players market. It's hard. So getting a job, going up to that level, unless you did a huge research and breakthrough, is very difficult. So have a good understanding of that in terms of um, what it takes to learn everything, and how does how does it work? What's a pragmatic way in which the whole thing that you will end up in a lucrative job, land with a lucrative job in this field where you are improving an AI implementation, right? So that's one side. The other side is application of AI. That has huge potential, but it also has downside, which is that no, it has a potential to take away jobs also, right? So what would need a lot of engineers to develop a system, to develop an application, doesn't AI can do displays all of them. You just need a proper thought, proper prompt engineering, build systems around AI to take the code it generates, put it in place, right? Be it code for developing application or developing even infrastructure, right? So these days, with I would say what I would call a revolution in cloud computing, infrastructure as code has become a thing. It's really really possible to bring up infrastructure and destroy it in a matter of seconds, or minutes, which was not the case. I mean, it was the aim long ago, 10 years ago, or no, 10, 15 years ago, I would say. You I we had only aimed for that. Like, we used to have run our own data centers with uh, hypervisors, where we'll say, okay, bring up this machine. It's it used to be, we try to attempt with the virtual machine revolution. We attempted that. Every company probably try to attempt, trying to bring up infrastructure as a software service. But no, that is now the reality. With all the cloud vendors, giving some top-notch um, software, infrastructure as service, it's just so easy. So applying AI in both, application development as well as infrastructure development is the key. and
Yeah.
that's what everybody is going to do. So coming up with ideas is what is what is going to be the biggest talent that's going to be sought after. So um, so being able to segregate you know different fields, like I said, you know uh, developing AI, and what kind of development, internally improving AI as opposed to applying AI. And even in terms of applying AI, are you going to just use AI to speed up your work and actually develop some other application, or you're going to develop an application which is going to use AI and act like a chatbot or act like some other system where kind of mimicking a chatbot, but in the back it is just it's basically produce wrapping AI up in a particular form to your customers, and making an application that will do something on and make users who are probably using some traditional software more productive, right? Obviously that also means displacing some jobs, right?
Yeah.
Doing so, figuring out which is your domain and where you want to play is the key. And it's very hard to predict, because I don't know how things will be 5 6 years. Nobody knows, because it definitely is able to churn out all kind of creative stuff, be it, as I said,
Yeah.
creating application code, infrastructure code, your text, your videos, audio, whatever, right? So the key is in applying AI, and intelligent ways, and very innovative ways to apply AI is going to be the key, and that's where majority of the people will be working on,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Definitely, sir. Sir, so another common doubt is for the students who are still unsure about which domain to pursue or haven't yet discovered their interest. So, what would be your suggestion for them to find clarity and direction?
Um, yeah, it's not a very straightforward. I mean, on a case by case basis, it'll differ. But if we just categorize few things, like if you fall into the category where what kind of work you like, right? Um, so you see yourself doing a particular kind of work. This was my method. So I'm just starting with that. What kind of work that you would like to do for years together, right? In your professional life. um, Figure that out, right? Would you be interested in doing repetitive work? Repetitive, not in the sense that because even software development is to some extent repetitive, but there's quite a bit of uncertainty there. New problems, new challenges to tackle along the way. So, when I looked at it, I wanted that component where, there's quite a bit of uncertainty in terms of challenges, and I wanted it to be software development, as though I did, electronics engineering. One, because I think it turned out to be a lot easier to experiment with and all of that, as opposed to electronics. It was just not easy at all to experiment and gain knowledge. Knowledge gaining was a lot easier with software, especially I had access to computers. um, you know Trying out new experiments was easy. And when I looked at it, I thought I like doing this. I don't think I would any day hate it. There might be ups and downs, but it feels like I was right. So I mean, even today, I don't feel it. I don't feel bored. Uh, it's yeah. For years together, I've been doing this, so I still feel happy and would continue to do it. So that was one strategy. Figure out what is that you think you would like to do for decades, and then based on that, figure out. I would say go to the extent of being very hypothetical and or imaginative in terms of what kind of work you like. You know, put all those things, and then slowly ground it. Make it pragmatic. in the sense, okay, there is no such job like this, or it's ridiculous what I'm asking for. It's never, it's not even going to be practical, right? So you will start pruning them out, and then you will come with a decent. But if you don't even know what kind of work you would be happy doing for decades in the future, that then your task would be to find that out, right? What is it? Maybe go back deeper and find out what would motivate you. um, and sometimes it's just wealth building, right? It's fair, it's nothing wrong with that. If you might just want to build wealth for whatever reason, again, there could be different motivations, right? And if that's the case, you have to you will have to do a lot of research and homework to find out what's the path that will do that for you. But again, it's a compromise, right? Because the outcomes might be great, but the path you will have to walk to get those outcomes might not be something that you would like. So you will have to strike a compromise between the two. The path you take should be good. Should be something of your liking that you would want to walk every day, but the outcomes also should be decent enough. Outcomes are great. If it's lopsided, it'll be painful. So figuring it out, all these things, it's challenging. So that's why it is hard. No wonder it is hard for a lot of people, right? Because it's not an easy challenge. It's like solving any other problem. There are a lot of parameters to optimize for, and you don't know which one is priority for you. Whether it is outcome or whether it is a path. But most often, I would say it is a path that is a priority for a lot of people, because you cannot sustain, right? It's unsustainable. A tough, hard path, but with fantastic outcomes, is not sustainable for anybody. So unless your capacity is way too high, and you know, you're never bothered by external circumstances, it's very hard, unless you're some realized being. So it's a yeah so it's a tough challenge, but think of it as a as a puzzle, right? What all parameters are there, start prioritizing, which is important and which is not, which parameter you would like to optimize more than other. And then, so think of it as, this is where I feel structured problem, structured thinking and problem solving can be applied even here. But if often, at a very young age, even when I was your age, I don't think I had this level of clarity, but no, I had some crude analysis that, that worked out for me. But with the help of the AI and all of that, you can definitely chat your way out and find out how to put a structured thinking around this and figure out what you would like. And don't rush it, right? Take your time. Keep optimizing that model for yourself, right? um, yeah, I hope it helps. I mean, I try to keep it abstract, but no, that's the only way to answer the question. I gave you a concrete example by quoting what I did, and I'm just giving you a little abstract answer.
Sir, that was really encouraging and insightful. So, lastly, taking you back to your college days, if you could go back and give your college self one piece of advice, what would it be?
I probably will. Um, yeah, I would say, yeah, it's kind of hard, in the sense that I was, I'm in two minds about it. Like, it's a problem for all students. I mean, you probably are facing it too. You know, how how much how much time do you devote to a particular subject to learn it deeply and to a great understanding, as opposed to getting your getting sufficient credits, to get sufficient grade, and keep boosting your GPA. It's a tough balance, but I think balance is definitely required. Just don't go after grades and not, but but also be very pragmatic. Is probably what's the advice that I would have given to my younger self, with the knowledge which is pragmatic in the sense um, that pragmatic or more like you know it's yeah pragmatic plus have the awareness about the future, right? Which was that learning is never going to stop, and if I had known that, I would have been a lot more pragmatic, which is that, oh, you know what, college is not the only time I'll learn all these things. I can learn to whatever depth I want, if only I have the interest and have the motivation to do it, right? And if I had that, I would have probably not taken it. I would have balanced out, been a little more pragmatic, and um, um, worked on worked worked on working on more projects. Worked on trying out you know maybe not trying out, but more like worked on making sure that the GPA is great, so that it opens up doors, because that's the key, right? There are some currencies that will open doors. If you're coming out of fresh out of college, sometimes it's the project you work on, sometimes the conferences that you have attended, right? So if you're just, oh, you know what, I don't even understand the subject very well, what's the point in doing it? No, it's like, there are not a lot of people who with minimal understanding go and attend the conference, not because no they think that they are experts, but because they want to know more, right? They want to build other bridges and other things. So knowing that is very important. So the problem is, it's like, the maturity is, it's hard to come by. You need the beatings from the from the world, the seasoning that's required. So talking to people, and taking advice from other people who have gone through this, and asking questions, like what you're doing. I don't know how much opportunity. Clarifying questions are difficult after I'm gone. So, maybe AI will help. But, talking to those people and asking clarifying questions. Oh, why did you choose that path? Why do you recommend this? Oh, what will happen in the future if I do this and not that and not this and not that? So, those kind of things will definitely help. So you can make those choices that you would make in the hindsight, but you get the opportunity to be able to make that, because you're getting that information from somebody who was a reliable source, and you have gotten to that conclusion by debating with them, or rather not, rather having a uh, more clear conversation that allowed you to see through the options, and pick and choose, rely on their knowledge and pick and choose a path that optimizes for the outcomes that you're aiming for, right? So talking to more people is the one that will allow you to be more pragmatic, right? um, yeah, and also lots of people, isn't it? You will have to talk to a lot of people, because one advice is very difficult to follow, because some of them will be just very, may not even match to your uh, to the person you are, right? Because the person from whom you're getting the advice may not match your kind of demeanor. So it may not, the kind of perspective they put may not even appeal to you, and you try to force that kind of a decision into your demeanor and personality may not work. So you know being being able to understand that, and so that let me go and talk to other person before I just force myself into this, right? That kind of thing. And eventually you will definitely find something that is very amicable to your demeanor and personality, and then you'll be able to take the advice from there and apply, and that will make you very pragmatic. And that um, the that would, as I said, open a lot more doors, right? And make it, it's basically at the end the efficiency, right? You're taking an efficient path. That means the outcomes that you are expecting are coming sooner, and then what happens is that leaves more time for you to pursue something that is more of your liking, which will not yield outcomes, but something that will keep you happy, right?
I'll definitely give a thought on that, sir. So that's the end of our questions. And thank you so much, sir, for sharing your journey and insights so openly. Your experiences not only provided with the technical depth, but also gave a lot of clarity and inspiration to students like me. It's been a true pleasure speaking with you today, and thank you once again for your time. And I wish you continued success ahead.
Wish you the same. All the best for your education. Hope uh, everything works out well for your generation. AI is a big challenge, as well as a boon as well as a challenge. Always the case with anything. So yeah, great. It was nice talking to you, and very happy that I had the opportunity. All the best.
Thank you, sir.